right, we're Masechet Para Gimel, Mishnah Gimel, third Mishnah in the third chapter of Masechet Para. We're in the middle of describing the incredible lengths that they would go to in order to prevent Para Aduma, the ashes of Para Aduma, from becoming Tameh. Incredible lengths. But we're going to see that they actually then made him sort of Tameh anyway, as we've described before. It says in Mishnah, Ba'u lahar habayit v'yardu. They came to Har HaBayit, meaning they had these kids on the oxen, on the planks, on the ox, that the kids were raised in this specific place not to become Tameh. So they got to Har HaBayit, and what do? Har HaBayit ve'azarot, Tachtehem chalumim, they kept it home. When they built Har HaBayit originally and the azarot and the courtyards, then we know they had area spaces underwards that were hollowed out. They had basements because of kever to home. So they're Har HaBayit, you're safe. They could get off the oxen, they're okay. Ubepetach azara haya mitukan kalal shel chatat. And the entrance of azara was mitukan. They placed there. It was like it seems like he says klisha munach, but placed there kalal shel chatat. Kalal is a kad khatan, a small kad. Okay. Of Efer Chatat, Mikol Parah Sheyu Surfim. There was Efer Parah Aduma. They had the ashes in there. And the problem was, you had to get the ashes now into the cups, into the buckets, in order to mix it with the water. So now we're assuming we have ashes of Parah Aduma. We're going to get to later how we get to the ashes of Parah Aduma. We started with how do you get water from the Shiloach, from the Silwan well, from the famous Shiloach. You can bring the water up to Har HaBayit, and now we're going to get it wet. We're going to make the mixture. Okay? So they had in this azara, the kalal shechatat, this small jug that was filled with the ashes, and it's tahor. So how do you get the ashes out without touching it? Umivi'im zachar shel rechedim. They bring a sheep. V'koshin chevel ben karnav, and they would tie a rope between its horns. V'koshin makel umisabech. They would tie a stick. Umisabech. A stick means like misabech means. Does the Bartenura say? It means the Kahati says, I know I saw it somewhere. A mesabech is like a branch that had leaves on it. And the leaves are there. You'll see in order to pull out the ashes. Birosho shel chevel. So you have a rope with like a think about like a branch with leaves on it, and that's tied to one end of the rope, and the other end is tied to the sheep. Basically, it's tied to the sheep. Okay, and you throw the branch they threw the branch. They had this bucket of afer, right? They threw the branch in. Umakeh azachar, and then you give the little sheep a whack. He moves back. Okay, and that would cause the ashes to sprinkle out. That would remove some ashes. So that's how you get ashes out of the kalal, out of the kli without touching it. Then vinotel umikadesh. Then one of the children, the Gati says, one of the babies who's tahor would take umikadesh. Mikadesh means intentional place on the water. Kadesh yira'el pnei hamayim. That should be seen on the water. Now the tinok notlo, the Bartenura says the tinok would take it. Ve'ein tzarich le'odi adom michutz. He doesn't have to take his hand out. I think what that means is he didn't have to stick his hand in. Nobody would stick their hands in. But Tosefta mashma. The Tosefta says, why did it? Shalot tzruchu la'asot kain. Why? Well, they only needed to do this when they came back from the Golah. No one could touch the Parah Aduma. They all came back from the Golah. They wanted to restart everything up. How did they restart? How do you restart when everyone's Tameh? So they came up with this thing. They were like, well, we could tie a branch to the end of a rope, throw the branch in, and then that's how we do it without even touching it. Okay? Because if they had touched it, they make it Tameh. Okay, so and why would they throw it? They threw it because of that. They threw it for whatever reason. So the Tosefta implies they didn't do this all the time. They did it once. Rabbi Yossi says, "Al titnu makom latzedokim nirdot." Don't give this place. So Rabbi Yossi seems to say they did it all the time. So don't give a place for the tzedokim to rule over us. See what we're doing? We're like driving ourselves bananas to make this whole process that nothing should become tameh, all because of tzedokim. Give me a break, basically. Ella hu notel umikadesh. Rather, he should, meaning the Kohen should take the ashes out like a normal human being, okay, and mikadesh. He says, listen, it wasn't because of Bnei Golah. They were tahor. He's interesting enough. He says, Al titnu makom l'tzedokim. They don't let the tzedokim rule over us. Limshol banu b'divrei schok v'hitul. You can imagine them like the tzedokim. Did you see what they're like? The Savar Rabbi Yossi held. Sha'ol b'nei Golah ayu be'em torm. They were tahor. Shetiarun be'efer ha'parah. Sharidu imahem leBavel. Interesting, he says, they took Parah Aduma ashes to Bavel. Ve'elu mimenu ha'imam. They brought it back with them. They weren't prepared. Ve'lo nitmu mishum eretz ha'amim. And, they took Parah Aduma to Chutz La'aretz. It became Tamei. No, it was not Tamei. When they came back and reinstituted the Jewish community in Israel, then they said everybody else is Tamei in Chutz La'aretz. Therefore, it was possible that a person would take it. You don't need all this. Rabbi Yossi says, stop, it's too much. Somebody is tahor, let him take the ashes, take it, umikadesh, and place it in the water. We'll stop here. Dedicate our learning to remembering my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Make it a great day.